Tales by Tabletop is a story adapted from sessions of Dungeons & Dragons. It follows the saga of a trio of adventurers, Laeran, Rosjen, and Tim.
Welcome, dear listeners, to the 15th chapter of our story. The light from Laeran's holy symbol illuminates a dozen shambling forms.
Oh, God's teeth! Ready yourselves, friends! Undead!
Upon Laeran's cry to action, a group of undead call out in a moaning chorus and begin to shuffle, crawl, and scramble toward our heroes.
Ha ha! I got one! But there's too many! What do we do?
Tem, light up these dregs.
On it!
Tim's ball of glittering light forms over the approaching horde. Laeran stands in front of Rosjen, his arm outstretched, presenting his holy symbol of Kelemvor face to face to the undead.
You who are not dead, run from my sight, to your final rests!
As the first of the horde closes in, lunging at the cleric with rotted and grasping hands, Laeran's holy symbol erupts in a burst of brilliant light. It reflects off of the floating orb and it explodes in a shower of radiance. The undead creatures recoil and scramble over themselves to flee. 5 of the creatures retreat, covered in a brilliant sheen, highlighting their silhouettes against the dull cavern walls. 3 still remain. They stop as if momentarily confused, then shake their heads out of the haze and lunge again at Laeran. Rosjen flies in from the side, propelling herself with her quarterstaff. She knocks 2 of the zombies away from Laeran.
Tim! Ha! We need to get some distance between us and them!
Okay, I've actually got something for this. Look to me, friends. Feel the power of the music flow through you.
And light surrounds him with a fey energy that comes from everywhere and nowhere at once. An eldritch wind rips through the air, causing his hair and cloak to billow wildly. Laeran and Rosjen look towards him, and even the zombies seem to gaze in wonder for a moment. He strikes the chord again, and the light rips outward toward the other 2 heroes, healing them and filling them with a sudden burst of energy.
Quick! While we have the chance, move back towards Tem. These shambling mockeries will not be able to catch up.
Good work, Tim. Laeran, get behind me! If you fall, those turned zombies will come right at us! Ha! All those other ones, they'll have to get through me first!
I understand, Roz. If I cannot be up front, then maybe Kelemvor's blade will be enough.
Laeran grabs his holy symbol and places it at his left hip, then pulls as if he was drawing a sword from an invisible scabbard. Intense gray light blooms as a brilliant sword forms in his hand. Laeran raises it high above his head.
Spirit of Kelemvor's blade, do thy work!
The sword flies forward, clashing with one of the undead shambling over to Rosjen, slicing the creature open. The zombie swings its arms uselessly at the spiritual weapon, unable to connect with it, radiant light burning its flesh.
Thanks for the assist, Laeran! Ha! Looks like we've got these things on the run! Ha ha ha!
Yeah, we do. Look at the end of the cave. They're crawling through a hole in the bottom of the wall.
The first room with the waterfall must be on the other side. That must be where the stream is coming from. They might still get into the castle that way.
We have to, ha! Stop these other ones from leaving! Tim, Laeran, do you think you can get to them? Ha! I can keep these ones occupied, ha!
Are you sure?
Oh yeah! I've had worse training sessions with the monster. Ha! Okay, well maybe not worse. But I fought more dangerous foes than these mushy punks. Ha!
We didn't see any earlier. I wonder how long these have been here.
There's someone else up there shooting at us.
Laeran grabs at the arrow. It's dripping with a dark, tar-like substance. He snaps the arrow off and throws the shaft to the cavern floor.
Faceless coward! Step into the light and face the judgment of Kelemvor!
A gaunt figure steps slowly out of a hidden recess in the cavern wall. He's wearing a horrible leather armor stained dark in splatters of blood, a wicked long sword on his back next to a quiver, and a disgusting longbow in his hands.
Your corpses will make a fine replacement in our army. Welcome to your end.
Stop attacking the zombies right now. They're just puppets. This guy is our main concern.
Ha! What is that? Ha! Is he another zombie?
Worse, it's a cursed white. No matter. Let us see how he will fare against Kelemvor's blade.
Laeran's floating sword launches at the ashen-skinned stranger. The white dodges the weapon's attacks with trained precision.
Regroup!
And again, the light ripples outwards, the still cave air momentarily filled with the rushing of magical wind. Laeran slides to the right of Tim, lining up with the ashen-skinned stranger. Rosjen tumbles closer to her companions, away from the three shambling dead. Two follow after her, flanking on both sides. The last, instead of fighting the spiritual weapon, charges to Tim.
Whoa there, Flaky. Laeran, I could use an assist.
Coming!
As Laeran turns to help his friend, another arrow shot catches him distracted. It hits him slightly above his collarbone and pierces through his armor, breaking a strap. His helmet launches through the air and clatters to the cavern floor. The glowing sword made of gray light fades as Laeran clutches his neck, trying to stop the bleeding.
You will not stop our plans.
The white tosses his cracked and splintered bow to the ground, rushing forward and drawing the wicked longsword from its back. It charges at Laeran, grasping with its gauntleted claws at the cleric's neck, but Laeran knocks the decaying hand away with his shield.
The Masked One has foreseen it. They have foreseen all. You will serve like the rest.
Kelemvor, take you! I knew these pompous blackguards above us were hiding something. They've led us here, like lambs to the slaughter.
These things won't stay down. Ha! I've dropped this one twice.
Well, if that big guy can speak, he can understand this. If you're working on things, you can continue space fitting to join the field. Attach the fitting with silk wrenches and nuts. Make sure the metal sides of washer space with a portion of local pipes.
The white grabs his forehead and tries to hold his ground, but is struck terrified by Tim's words and runs to the back of the cave. Laeran is able to land a quick blow as the white turns.
Good gods, Tim. That really seemed to affect it. What are you saying in his head?
Oh, something it's not prepared to hear is all.
I don't care how powerful they are. Once we are done here, we are going back up there, and every one of the Knights of Brevery will have to face me.
I think you're right, Laeran. They've downplayed us, withheld information, and...
Ha! Boys! After the fight, it's coming back!
Then let us fell these undead kin. Yeah!
On guard!
Die, foul undead! Ha!
The white shakes the fear caused by Tem's words and rushes back to Laeran, both hands around his sword's hilt. The white lashes out his emaciated hand and wraps his cold, bony fingers around Laeran's neck.
Grave man, take you.
Fine hangman's necklace you wear. Succumb and rejoin the fallen Christ.
Laeran! Ha! 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 Face kick!
Laeran grasps for breath as he tries to fight off the wraith's icy grip. The creature's hand radiates a dark and necromantic energy, and the cleric's veins start to blacken and wither. Rosjen swings at a zombie and caves his chest in, then jumps and crushes another with a blow from her knife. With lightning dexterity, she moves across the cave floor as if she was flying, and punches the white in his lower back, releasing his hold on Laeran.
You wretched, pitiful creatures! You cannot stop the Masked One!
We might not be able to kill the Masked One, but we'll make a start with you.
Roz, can you take care of this guy?
I'm working on it, but I kinda have my hands hold this one.
Rosjen turns to block the zombie, but as she turns around, the white slashes her back with his longsword. He grabs around her neck and begins to choke her, but Rosjen grabs onto the cold hand and twists her way out of the hold on her.
Try grabbing me again with that broken wrist.
She quickly slides behind the white and gives another punch to its kidneys.
Run away, fiend!
Attach the trap into the trap bones and washers. Outside the washers should face the trap. Maintain all the necessary aerosols with light. The use pebble on magnetic pigment in the finish. Be careful not to overtighten and crack slip nuts.
The White drops his sword and grasps his head in his hands, the pain overwhelming it.
Look at his temples! They're burning with purple light!
Good. He's down for a moment.
Laeran grabs his holy symbol and looks to the ceiling.
Boss, we need just a little more time. Keep us in the fight a bit longer. We can bring this evil down.
Soft gray light swirls around Laeran and Rosjen, closing some of their wounds, giving them a much-needed reprieve. The White glares at the trio, eyes blazing with purple light. He snaps his wrist back into place and quickly stands, grabbing his longsword. He swings at Rosjen.
Ah! My arm!
Your life will be mine! Die!
The White reaches its hand out again and wraps its wasted hand around Rosjen's neck.
I said no! Bad touch! Bad touch!
She grabs onto his wrist again, but this time she jumps and wraps her legs around his arm. She pulls with a quick snap, breaking his arm at the shoulder. Using the rest of her momentum, she twists it to the floor and tumbles away.
May your evil be gone from this world.
Our plans are already in motion, Wombats. They cannot be stopped now.
We'll see about that.
But you won't.
No!
Rosjen swings her leg up and drops it on the White, breaking its neck with her foot. It starts, and a look of surprise enters its eyes for a brief moment, then fades as the creature drops to the floor. It doesn't move again. Our heroes look at each other, catching their breaths for a moment. Rosjen bends down to search the body of the White, giving it a swift kick for good measure.
We should finish up with the rest of these things before they get further into the keep.
Why? I think this was a setup.
Even if it was, these wretched mockeries of life need to be buried.
More like burned.
Huh. This guy has a map on him. Ugh. It's way better than the one Linus gave us.
How did they know this underground better than the people who lived above it? Do you think we'd get into trouble if we crashed the party?
I plan on it. Someone is getting socked.
We're going to jail again, aren't we?
There's more on this map. The cave keeps going on at the top.
I don't like it. We're all pretty spent. I'm almost out of spells.
I'm not doing well either. We really only have one option.
Laeran raises his holy symbol to his lips, and soft gray light blossoms from the ground beneath the three adventurers, healing their wounds further and returning some warmth.
All right, maybe two. We could...
Suddenly, the room begins to quake. As our heroes try to regain their balance, Laeran and Tim are struck with falling rocks. The zombies that had huddled in the corner are crushed as the ceiling collapses above them.
I don't care how much we're getting paid. We need to get the out of here. I'm not gonna die by falling rocks in a collapsing cave.
Grand idea. Let us withdraw.
There's that hole in the wall those other two zombies used. It's a shortcut.
They run to the head of the stream at the northern wall of the cavern. At the base is a small hole.
It's full of water, and it looks big enough for me. But you two might need to squeeze.
Then we hold our breaths. Roz, lead the way.
Laeran, you go ahead. I need to stow my guitar.
The trio make their way into the dark hole. Water flows around their faces as they use the smooth tunnel walls to guide their way through. Rosjen is the first one out. The room is dark, save for a small sliver ahead of her above the waterfall. She lights a torch as the other two surface.
The waterfall. It stopped flowing.
A few of these cursed made it through, but that one looks pinned under some rocks.
There's another walking up the pathway we came in on. Are those glowing rocks in the ceiling still working?
Nope. I think it's because there's some light coming above the waterfall, or where it used to be.
We need to exit. Let us uncover the truth of what is happening here.
The adventurers make quick work of the pinned zombie and fell the other from a distance with arrows and bolts. As they make their way past the downed zombie on the pathway up, Tim kicks it off the edge to the cavern floor, where it lands with a satisfying thump. Water has started to flow down the path. They reach the top and see that the other passageway has collapsed, diverting it to the other room.
If there was an Odiug, it cannot be too happy now under all that rubble.
I'm not too happy about that ladder. I had a hard enough time getting down the first time. All the shaking isn't going to help much.
Well, us halflings never shy away from a challenge. Up we go.
They begin to climb up slowly, having some difficulty with the angle. As they're about to reach the top, there come another tremor in the rocks, and Tim loses his grip and falls.
Tim, are you hurt?
Just about everywhere.
I will go down and fetch him.
Laeran quickly retrieves his friend and tends to his wounds as best he can.
I'm worried about what's going on up there. If whatever it is can shift a castle, maybe we don't want to deal with it.
Hurry up! I got the door to the kitchen unjammed. There are people hiding up here.
Jammed?
Yeah, whatever's going on, it knocked the door off its hinges.
God's teeth. We might not be able to get out this way.
Everything's been tossed to one side, but it doesn't look like a herd of zombies came through here.
Beyond the walls in the kitchen, our heroes can hear panicked screaming and the clashing of steel. Rosjen points out the cooks in hiding, and Laeran kneels down to talk to them.
We need to leave. This is no place to die.
Dragon. The dragon is back.
Back? What do you mean, back?
Oh, Laeran, I called it. It's a Dracolich.
Damn it! Later, Tim. We need to get these people out of danger.
Tim nods, then abruptly turns to the people in hiding. Soft light shines from somewhere on him, and a gentle wind blows his hair. The terrified people look at him in awe.
Come with us. We'll lead you to safety.
Tim kneels down and picks up one of the younger kitchen hands, carrying him out. Laeran and Rosjen help the others up. They navigate their way to the foyer, and then find themselves in the midst of a chaotic scene. The walls are beginning to crumble, the front gates are sundered, and the guards are escorting people out to safety. Toward the back, the doors leading to the Great Hall have collapsed under a pile of rocks. The dwarves from Baron Nimbusmith's caravan are mining away at it with hammers and picks, removing the rubble as quickly as possible. Tim sets down the servant he's holding, and they immediately run for the exit. The other servants quickly follow. Two of the guards rush up to our heroes.
Thanks, Sune. We thought you guys might have all died.
Bernie, Rodger, what in the nine hells is going on?
We're not too sure. Gabe was inside when things happened. Something big got in the vault. There's some powerful artifacts in there.
Whatever it is tore the Great Hall in half. The few people them dwarves helped pull out said something about undead.
We're just doing what we can. A small halfling squeezes past a guard at the gate.
Miss Rosjen! Miss Rosjen!
That's not good.
What are you doing here, child?
Oh no, David, you shouldn't be in here. You've got to get home right away.
But James is still in there.
The halfling points to the collapsed door.
James and I thought we could sneak in under some of the silver dining carts, and we did. We were eating some cakes when the castle split. The rocks fell around the door, but I was able to squeeze out.
Gird yourselves. This is our last chance. Every moment counts.
Bernie, Rodger, make sure this one gets back to his father at the Swampy Donkey.
You can count on us.
Come on, young one. It's too dangerous for anyone here.
Oi!
Jody, get some wood to brace the stone.
A few of the dwarves work to brace an opening wide enough for a person to get through and begin filing in, our heroes following closely behind.
We will help as many as we can to get out of here.
And we need to find James.
Laeran keeps his stern eyes forward. Once through the rubble, pandemonium waits for them on the other side. Partygoers are fighting off a wave of human zombies and whites. The dead litter the ground. A 15-foot fissure is cut into the floor of the Great Hall diagonally from the top center to the bottom right corner. A large crack in the ceiling lets in the night sky. The black dragon head hanging over a 20-foot high arch that leads to a room full of gold and treasure. They can't see anything clearly, but something huge is inside. Charlie surprises the adventurers as he appears behind them holding a crate of red flasks, his bird mask slightly askew.
Here, take one.
Nice. Potions?
Yes, health potions. Drink.
Charlie clicks his heels together and begins to jump as if he was climbing invisible stairs.
Bottoms up.
Arrows begin to fly at him as he reaches the chandelier. The young woman with the long bow and the red sash hangs with one foot in a loop of rope like a stirrup high above the fray. She steadily fires her white-fletched arrows into the undead below. Charlie tosses a red vial to her.
Oh wow, that guy knows his potions. I feel great.
We might want to save a few for those who need it.
Look! In that back room!
They stand awestruck as they clearly see bones, stones, and gold fly around the treasure room. The huge skeleton of a dragon is fighting two stone golems.
Boom! Dracolich. Called it. I'm telling everyone.
You'll have no one to tell if we're all dead!
To ash. Send these mockeries of life back to their graves.
They enter the fray, weapons drawn. They fight alongside the Knights of Brevery. Lady Brevery has her hood down, fighting back-to-back with the mage Abigail. They are standing close to the monarch, whose prismatic splatter beasts change their shape, tearing into the undead as they approach. Hope, the tiefling cleric, sends columns of light down on the various skeletons, wights and zombies. When she sees them gathering people to leave, she rushes over.
It's good to see you all again. I'll hold some of these abominations off to give you some time.
She holds her wrist and places her palm out, facing a wight in a group of zombies. The wight holds its sword high and charges with the zombies behind. Just before they get within arm's reach, Hope closes her eyes and her palm glows bright red. Suddenly, a 40-foot pillar of fire and sunlight descends upon the undead, searing them to ash. Hope nods to the tree.
I will have your backs as long as I can. There are many wounded, and we may not be able to reach them all.
We are in your debt, my lady.
With Laeran and Rosjen defending, Tem gathers the wounded and non-combatants and guides them to the hole the dwarves have made. Occasionally, Laeran will throw himself shield first into the undead to keep them off of civilians. Across the rift in the floor, the knights Abeda and Bisham are backed up against the wall, but continue to cleave their way through any foe that approaches them, making their way slowly to the treasure room.
Ugh! Wait a moment! Where is the bard? And Madame Ticello?
He's over there next to the rift. It looks like he's having way more fun than's probably appropriate.
I've kept an eye on Anne. She's in the middle with the hooked blade. Ha!
Laeran looks over the melee to see the familiar red dress. Her hair still pinned in place, her face calculating each blow as she disembowels every undead that dare stand in her way.
She seems to be doing fine.
Someone is still getting punched after this.
A human-looking woman dressed in red pants and black monk's robes flies out of the mass of combat and lands across the fissure. As she flies, fire erupts from her fist, striking the undead below. When she lands, she puts her hands together and a beam of light fires from her into a mass of zombies.
Whoa, a sensor! You don't see many of them.
Dwarven fighters and town guards begin to stream in.
Hey, Laeran, knock that skeleton closer to the white. Let me light these things up. Give our side a bit of an advantage.
I got you.
Tim! Ha! Behind you!
A ball of glittering light forms over the gathered horde and bursts, coating them in an ethereal glow. As the fighting continues, the adventurers help more people get out.
I still haven't seen James. I hope he's okay.
I found Vicnus. He's over there close to Linus.
Our heroes turn to see a wounded Vicnus get backed up to the huge crack in the floor. Vicnus makes eye contact with the group and grins knowingly as waves of heat exude around his muzzle. He opens his mouth wide as fire explodes in front of a group of undead, charring them black.
Yeah!
Go Vicnus!
Good work, sir.
Screams and shouting combined with a calamitous sound divert their attention to the archway to the treasure room. The dragon's skeleton emerges into the great hall. The heroes can see but can't hear Lady Brevery point to the creature as the surrounding knights change the focus of their attacks.
God's teeth.
Oh shit! It took down the stone golems.
Where's its head? There's no head! It's all skeleton!
It means it's no lich yet.
It's close enough for me to say I was right. Skeletal or lich, it's the same thing.
It most certainly is not. If that head above the throne is the head of that dragon, we will be in leagues more danger. We must stop that from happening.
That creepy guy in the robes might have something to do with that.
A humanoid of what race no one can tell, dressed in black robes and wearing a long, white mask, hovers slowly into the great hall behind the skeletal dragon. As he glides into the bloodshed room, the bodies around him of those who lay dead begin to stir and rise up, their weapons still clutched in their hands from where they fell.
Oh no.
Tales by Tabletop is a series supported by a dedicated team. They make this project happen and infinitely more fun. Laeran is played by Jim Cook and voiced by Jay DeGraff. Rosjen is played by Misty Harper and voiced by Jazlyn Pintar. Tim is voiced and played by Phil Boelche. Your narrator is David Nayland. Guest voice acting provided by Ethan Bearden and Gabrielle Galluzzo. Story coordinators are Mike Becker, Chris Hultin, and Zac McAuley. Sound effects provided by freesound.org, and music provided by tabletopaudio.com. The theme for Tales by Tabletop was created by David Vass. This show is edited and directed by Zac McAuley, Travis Nellor, and is produced by Michael Blackard.